Hello and good afternoon. I would like to introduce my next guest, which is Meredith. Meredith, over to you to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name's Meredith. I am a breast cancer survivor, and it was a glitch in my life. Certainly a very confronting glitch. However, it's now 11 years ago, and fighting fit and enjoying it every day. Not focusing on I guess the breast cancer, but focusing on living life.
Aren't you amazing? Now, I do know Meredith through the business Women Connecting here in Ashgrove, which is in Queensland, and she is certainly a trooper. It's fantastic to have you here today. Now, just a few questions to ask you as part of the campaign. Initially, what is one mental health technique that you yourself have used? We're not always going to have the best days in our life every single day, but what's one tactic that you find yourself you can do if you're just having one of those days, but you want to focus on your well-being?
I think something that I learned was to try and find a quiet space and just breathe. And just slow my breath and focus on the breath. In for 4, hold for 4, and out for 4. Because I have, through the diagnosis, there was and still is situations of anxiety. So if I feel that tightness and that sort of shortness of breath, etc., I'll try very hard to find a quiet spot and just breathe, but slow my mind and focus on the breathing rather than on anything else.
Breath is so important. Thank you so much for that insight. Now, we were just chatting before. The next question is, what is your message of hope? So imagining, sometimes when we go through these big things in life, and you've already shared one with us, it just feels like there's so much going on, and it can feel like you're in that eye of the storm, and there are certainly people out there that are experiencing that today. So I'm wondering, do you have any insight for someone? What's your message of hope? Now that you've overcome so much to be here today, what's some insight that you want to share with them if they're right now in the eye of the whirlwind?
I think it's don't isolate yourself. Try and not shy away. I also, prior to that diagnosis, I was a member of a dragon boat club for paddling, and the women were breast cancer survivors or supporters of those survivors. So it was about becoming a part of the team, and it wasn't about sitting there talking over and over the what ifs, everybody's journey. It was about focusing on your journey, being a good patient, doing what the doctors told you, and working with the doctors and the nurses. They were really wanting to help you to move forward and to be positive. And then paddling, it was about being with people who had a same diagnosis, and how we were working through it, and just enjoying being out there on the water, enjoying the environment of what we had. So it was trying not to isolate yourself and get into a hole.
Absolutely. A very powerful, strong message. I love that you mentioned joy. It's interesting, here in the mental health sector, there's been a lot of awareness recently about emotional intelligence, and when things like upset us, or we're overwhelmed by so many different challenges, what are the first things that drop off our list of things to do? Often it can be exercise, because people, I'm too busy for that, I can't do this. But exercise helps you. It helps, stay a bit more resilient. And the emotional intelligence sector space will certainly say, if you find that essence of joy, it will bring you up. So in these times, sometimes it's so important to prioritize and make sure you know, in your case, it was the dragon boat racing, but make sure that
Yeah.
it becomes a priority, because you can build yourself up with your team and your connections. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
My
Not
last
a
question.
problem.
My last question to you is, I find that I'm a huge advocate for prevention. Often the health system is so focused on this illness model, like people can get sick and then the hospitals kick in, or, you know, we wait so long sometimes to seek help that we're in a crisis now and we need that oxygen mask. You know, so I'm an advocate for prevention. So what can we do early to make sure that we're not reacting on that tail end of crisis? So why do you believe investing in prevention is important?
Well, because it's self-responsibility, and it's about recognising perhaps some, like, overwhelm. I get overwhelmed very easily, so it's recognising that perhaps coming on, removing myself from the situation, and thinking, how do I manage this, rather than letting it get on top of you. You know, and I think the confrontation of a cancer diagnosis affects everybody very, very differently. And we have the opportunity here in Australia of just so much scientific support and awareness. So and services available to be then self-responsibility to go and have your checks, to go and because the sooner the scientists, the doctors, everybody find out about the diagnosis, the better off the outcome will be, and the more manageable the outcome and positive the outcome will be.
Yeah.
So really it's just taking the time out and that self-responsibility of utilising the services that are available, and have a regular check and work with the support network around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you were just talking about a breast cancer diagnosis. However, it's the exact same thing in the mental health space. You know, the sooner we are aware of some of these signs and symptoms affecting us, the sooner we get people onto these pathways, the more, the better the chance are at greater life expectancy. The greater the chances are at actually having the treatment work earlier on. But if we wait too long, then it's not impossible. It just becomes a little bit harder the longer we wait, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. And you do have a very powerful story, and it absolutely is relevant to the campaign. So I do appreciate your words. Any final comments that you would like to leave?
No, just happy to be of help, Ali. If you need any more, let me know.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to releasing more stories shortly. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thanks, Ali.